So the issue that we're going to discuss today was brought to the Neighborhood Resolution Center's attention by Officer Bob at Diana's request. So with that in mind, I'm going to have Diana start if everyone is in agreement. Are you in agreement, Lori? Okay, thank you. So go ahead and start.
Yes, I live in a very quiet, very well-kept neighborhood, and I've lived there for about 30 years, raised my children, and now I have 3 grandchildren that come and frequent the house. All of the neighbors have always gotten along, and that it's very quiet. It's a very small street, so we have very little traffic coming in and out. About 6 months ago, when Lori and her family moved into the neighborhood, it was almost immediately that there was such a disruption and a change of element in the neighborhood. With the traffic, they have 3 children. 2 of the children are within driving age. Her husband and herself, the vehicles have been up and down the street with very little regard to the safety of the children who normally play in or near the street. And right after they moved into the neighborhood, the noise level has just increased tenfold with loud music, loud noises, late at night, the comings and goings, the yellings of the children. It's just disrupted the entire neighborhood. And it's not just myself that have felt just the atmosphere changed. We have a very well-kept neighborhood. The lawns are well-kept, the yards, there's no vehicles, disabled vehicles in the neighborhood causing any trash or anything. And Lori and her family now have piles of trash by the trash can. They have a disabled vehicle that's been sitting there unmoved for probably about 3 months. The children, the noise, the disturbance, just everything has changed from this quiet little residential street to something that you would see in an apartment area because of the traffic and the noise, and they have no respect for anybody that's living in the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Lori, could you share your issues with us now?
The issues that me and my family have is that Diana continually calls the police for things that are not police matters. We have a large family. The kids make noise. We have a lot of drivers. That's not illegal. It's to be expected in a family of our size. And she continually calls the police over issues because she doesn't like that her neighborhood has changed, just like she said. And we just need a place where we don't have to worry about every time we go outside or every time we say something or every time we drive up and down the road, what is the neighbor going to be saying. We have been starting friendships with the other neighbors. We don't have problems with them. They're not calling the police. We don't feel like we can relax in our neighborhood and in our own home.
Thanks for both of you for sharing your issues. I have a couple questions I'm going to ask of both of you. Laura, you said you've been in the neighborhood about 6 months?
Yes.
What made you choose this particular neighborhood?
The proximity to my children's schools.
What school do they go to?
They go to Placer and Bowman.
Okay.
And also the price and the size of the house, and my youngest daughter has a friend that lives in the neighborhood.
Okay, so you were familiar with the neighborhood already?
Yes. There were also some things that we really liked about the neighborhood because my daughter's friend lives there, so we'd been in the neighborhood before, and we really liked the setup of the neighborhood because the way the lawns are, it's very open and spacious, and they're all very well cared for. It seems like it's a very quiet neighborhood. There's not a lot of riffraff. We came from an apartment where there's just apartment white trash, and we really didn't want our children to be around that type of element. And so this is a very quiet neighborhood with respectable and responsible people. There didn't seem to be a lot of traffic. One of my children is a new driver, and the other one, I guess one doesn't drive yet, and so, you know, we don't want a neighborhood where people are racing up and down the street.
Is this the same school district your children were in at the time?
Yes.
Do your grandchildren go to these schools as well?
Yes, they do.
Oh, okay. So, it sounds like a community or a neighborhood that's well established. You're probably familiar with the same teachers that work at the schools. You said you have some drivers at the house. How many drivers?
4.
So how many vehicles do you actually have at your home?
4.
Okay. And Diana had mentioned that there was a disabled vehicle. Is that accurate?
It's not disabled. It is non-op. It actually runs.
But
It's not currently registered.
okay, but it's parked on the street?
Yes.
Whereabouts?
It is parked in front of our house.
Okay.
Not to block the mailbox.
And you mentioned that you work fairly late, till fairly late at night?
I work till 11:30, and I'm home by midnight, at the latest 11:45 usually.
Okay. So a lot of the things that Diana talked about, you probably weren't at home at the time that these allegedly occurred?
What things?
She had talked about noise. If these things occurred, it sounds like what she's saying, they occurred in a time that you probably were at work.
I don't know that they occurred.
Okay. But
I mean, we have children. They're noisy. I'm sure her children are noisy. I don't know of any. I do know that when she called the police, the times that she called the police showed up. No, I was not there.
And then one other item that Diana had mentioned was the that your yard at your residence didn't appear to be mowed or unkempt or something to that effect.
It's winter, so we're not mowing the lawn right now. The lawn is in not excellent condition. It was in fairly poor condition when we moved in, and part of our rent agreement was that we were to do work on the lawn. My husband's been unemployed, so we don't have a lot of money to buy plants and shrubs to replace the ones that are dead. There are some dead shrubs that need to be pulled out, and we do plan on doing that. And so yes, the lawn is probably not as nice as many of the other lawns in the neighborhood, but like Diana said, she's lived there for 30 years. We've lived there for 6 months, and we can't just turn the lawn around in 6 months.
And then finally, there was the issue of the trash that hadn't been collected.
Well, there's a lot of trash. It gets collected. We do pay to have trash service every other week. Right now we can't afford to have the trash picked up every week. So we do put it in bags. It's bagged on the side of the house.
Okay, and then, thank you, Lori.